And the head of the AMC family of clinics joins us in the KUM News Link Zoom room. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Chris.
Wow, you were really one of the first voices to consistently call for an end to the mandates targeting or dealing with the unvaccinated. That announcement happened Friday, and I know you had early knowledge of that. Can you kind of just give us the details about what do you think went into making this decision? Because it was really, I felt like it was out of left field. I mean, no one was anticipating that.
Yeah, I think I mean, been a long time overdue for you know, for this mandate, and I think that with the current situation with the Omicron, where it's really not distinguished between vax and unvax, we have to somewhat do things different. So I think that the remove the mandate for the vaccine for the restaurant, um, um, no, it's really overdue, but it's good that that they make the call. But I think that the next one should be, the mandate for the testing and vax, the weekly testing. I think that should be gone too, because there's really, there's no, like I said, no science behind it. And I know that we do that in order to try to increase the rate of vaccination. But I think that at this time, that thing should go away too, because it's really a burden of cost for the private employer. Also, a lot of people, all the employees to go out and do the testing weekly. Infection, vax and unvax, the Omicron will kind of run over you. So I think the mandate should be the next one to go.
Doc, I know that you had also been one of the voices saying that this surge was going to last way longer than Dr. Nathaniel Berg, who's the chair of the PAG now, had said that with a little luck, we could be out of this by February 1st. It is now March 1st. The numbers have gone down a little bit, but what's your prediction for the rest of this Omicron surge?
We still gonna stay triple digit in the 100 to 200 range probably in the next 2 weeks or so. I think that the infection is still out there. There's a lot of home tests right now that people use, and unfortunately, those are not reported to public health. But I think that as the Omicron, we have to change for every variant that we know, right? I mean, we make different decisions based on the how the severity, the hospitalization. But I think with the Omicron, it's not so much the positive in the community. We still have to pay attention to that, just because those positive, as you can see, people will bring it home to the elderly, and we're going to start losing our elderly more sooner or later. So I think the hospitalization will be the best key for us to judge to see how the infection is and how we make decision. But again, we still need to pay attention for the positive rate, because again, the younger generation tend to bring it home to the elderly, and the elderly with comorbidity will be the one that will pass away. So we still have to pay attention to both, but the key indicator should be the hospital now.
Doc, when the surge kind of started, I know that Dr. Berg and even the governor had come out and said that it was going to be mild. What's your assessment? Because when I look at just the deaths alone, I don't think it has been mild. And do you think that we misjudged the severity of this Omicron surge?
No, first, the pure number of positive during Omicron, is over 50% of our own infections since March 2020. So by pure number of positive in the community, the death rate from the Omicron would be lower, but because the pure number of positive, the death rate, the number of deaths would be higher, just because we have so much positive out there. But if we have positivity without joy, that rate would be a lot higher. So again, it's not over yet. I know we have to somewhat still push the 3W out there, but we expect the digit number to be for probably another 2 weeks or so, a little bit longer before we see to the digit. And then we will expect a little more death in the next 2 weeks, just because it's going to the elderly and the comorbidity will play toward the end.
Doc, I wanted to. We've posed a couple of questions to our audience with our daily question on the social media platforms of KUAM. One of the questions that we talked about was the lifting of the mask mandate, right? And this has been controversial. I mean, in the States, I think that for the most part, we've done pretty good with it here. But I think, people are tired of it, and they want to see, like, if we have to wear the masks, they want to see, the governor, the lieutenant governor, everybody wearing the masks too. So where do you stand on the mask mandate? Should we end it? If so, why? If not, why?
I think that the mask mandate, once Omicron take a double digit, we need to reevaluate that situation. That once we get down to the double digit, we should let the mask mandate be dictated by the business place. I think every business place should have the decision if they want to require the mask in their business or not. So just like for my clinic, we will require masks in the clinic. Going to be for a while, but because that's the safety of everyone that enter the building. Yeah. So I think that should now belong to the business and let them make decision. They're going to require the mask in their business or not. So, but I think that right now, when we're still in the triple digit, we shouldn't do that. We should wait till it gets a little bit better before we do that. Right. Again, it will give people a break on the mask. So I think that's something that's doable moving forward.
Doc, what about the gathering limits, the social gathering limits? Do you think that we need to take a look at that? So, guys, if you're listening, Dr. Nguyen said the next mandate that should go should be the weekly testing requirement for the unvaccinated people who work in these covered establishments. So, how do you feel about the gatherings?
I think the gathering at this point, doesn't matter what we put a mandate, people gonna go without masks. We still have positive coming out of rosary and funeral and wedding. But I think people wanna go there, know their risk, and they have to make sure that, hey, if I go there and I can still keep my mask on, I know a few do that during the rosary, during the wedding, or you can go without mask and your risk, especially if you have family that have comorbidity. But I think with Omicron, Chris, I think we can we just let people make the decision, let the employer make the decision on the mask moving forward. Once we get to like double digit, I think right now it's still kind of on the triple digit, and it's not a good idea to drop the mask mandate yet.
Yeah, I was looking through some of the comments of when we posed this question to our audience. One of them was from a teacher. She said that she's not ready to be around 20 kids without a mask. And when you talk about the businesses, Doc, I feel like I understand if the businesses want to make it an individual choice for their customers, but I also feel like, personally, I like going into a business, an eating, drinking establishment, and I like that the employees are wearing the masks. So should we keep mask mandates in place for employees in these covered establishments?
Yeah, again, that's the employer discretion. I think that the business owner can make the decision. So I think that, like I said, the next step after the testing mandate that need to go away. I think the mask mandate should be, like I say, up to the employer, and it shouldn't be a mandate.
Right on.
Unless we have in the variant that going crazy in the next few months. But I think after this one, we should have a break question.
Don't jinx it, Doc. Don't jinx it. I heard that before. I heard after this one we should be good. I've been hearing it for 2 years.
We keep our finger crossed. I think it will be, but for the Omicron, the only thing that I really want to pass a message to the people of Guam is that we know that cardiovascular wise, for heart attack and stroke and arrhythmia, it go up quite a bit, and everybody, doesn't matter you have comorbidity or not, 1 year post infection. So that's a known fact and something that we have to educate the public to make sure that if you have a COVID infection, especially with Omicron the past few months, that you need to make sure that you live healthy and you see a physician to make sure that all your comorbidity, your cholesterol, your sugar, your blood pressure are well controlled, at least for the next 1 year, because that's the highest risk for any type of cardiovascular event is 1 year post-infection. I know we talk much about that, and wish public health would do more campaign for that, because we are somewhat kind of getting nervous on what happened to people in the next 1 year that result in the stroke and a heart attack and in the next year or so post-infection. So be careful, and then I say keep eat healthy, exercise, and go see your doc.
So you're saying that there's a connection between COVID and cardiovascular issues, like stroke and heart attack post-infection?
Yes, I mean that's definitely a connection. We see that in the clinic, and we see that in the literature. It's very well documented. So that's something that with Omicron, because so many positive, that now the healthcare, I really worry about what happened in the next year or so for us to handle this cardiovascular incidents on the patient that had it.
Doc, what about the long COVID? I know a couple people who had they had the OG COVID, the Alpha variant, and they got pretty sick. And I know a couple people who are still kind of struggling with the after effects of that illness.
Yeah, long COVID is something that we see also. I talked about in the few shows back that, if you experience persistent coughing weeks to months after your infection, if you know that, that you have much more fatigue and your level of energy is not like before, you should see work you up for a long COVID syndrome. It can happen for weeks and months after the infection. So if you suddenly, if your infection of a few months ago, suddenly you have shortness of breath and you seem progressively worse, now go see your doctor. We're going to have to work you up for long COVID syndrome.
Well, Doc, thank you for your time and your information this morning.
Yeah, you're welcome, Chris. But keep our finger crossed that some of the mandate will go soon, okay?
Okay, so he's calling it the next mandate to fall. It should be the weekly testing requirement for the unvaccinated employees.
We hope.
Okay, there you go. It's out in the air. Speak it into existence. Manifest it, Doc. Thank you. Dr. Hoa Nguyen, it's 8:56. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back